Hi everyone. We are doing the numerology and the astrology for January 10th, 2021. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 7. So the number 7 is about what is the plan, what is the strategy as we go forward, and that's going to be the question. What is the path forward? It's a much bigger question than it seems. To move forward under these distinct circumstances is unprecedented in our life, and all the obvious steps that could have worked were not implemented at the correct times, and that has created this present dilemma. It's that old phrase, you make your bed, you have to lay in it, and when energies and emotions are not held in check with law and backed up with clear intent, then everything can go willy-nilly. There have to be clear and defined boundaries for acceptable behavior, and I'm embarrassed for what is happening on our country, and I see that the strategies that are happening are not working, nor have they been working. And radical shifts will end up happening, and everyone will need to kind of relearn to reevaluate their choices, words, and behaviors going forward. So while I believe that consistent small steps going forward is always the best way to go, when you get groups that come in and they decide to block education or block information or twist information or perpetuate lies or want to believe opinions just because somebody is on the internet and touting it, we can get some huge problems. And so we have to have laws that basically say this is true, this is not true. And I understand that truth is a flexible thing, because this is what's true for me now, as we would say in consciousness. This is where my awareness is right now, okay? But there's a danger with people just making shit up all the time. And, we've suddenly have this society that they believe their opinion, and they think that then everyone should believe their opinion. And wow, that's so not going to work as it goes forward. So, the astrology today. The moon is in adventurous Sagittarius, and I plan on spending my time trying to look at some new ideas and new ways to discover things that are vital and important going forward. And while this is a sign of optimism, it's also a sign that has difficulty hearing the truth. And I anticipate the latter more. It's going to be more the case. But I can still remain hopeful that we as a country can find a way through this. So maybe we need a change of scenery, which would be a good idea, but not from a place to pick fights or cause more problems. Emotions can make choices problematic, and emotions are very high with Mercury semi-square Neptune and the Moon square Neptune. I mean, it's really hard to find the clarity in the minds of some. And this creates kind of cloudy thinking and perhaps a delusional perspective that can become extremely dangerous. Even when you try, you may not be expressing yourself clearly, and others will be listening from ears that are biased and looking to pick a fight and looking to pick apart what you're saying. So do your best to not give an opinion. Right now, especially, the Sun trines Vesta, showing a way through, which is to dedicate ourselves to a cause that helps heal and support our world. Tearing apart the Constitution is never going to get us anywhere, but a destroyed society and a civilization that's just going to keep experiencing more and more suffering. Yeah. So, my quote for today: emotions can make choices problematic. So I fall back into my Buddhist stuff, which is you are not what you think, you are not what you feel, and you're not your physical body. Then what are you? You are a soul inhabiting a body. You can't trust what you feel because it's transient and it constantly changes. And just because you feel something doesn't make it legitimate, real, or even true or valid. I mean, just because you feel it, it's so transient. And then you can't trust what you think. So your beliefs and your biases are based on your history and your emotions and your traumas, and those aren't necessarily real either. Just because a person who looked a certain way hurt you when you were 5 years old doesn't mean everybody who looks that way is going to hurt you. But that's what the mind does. The mind is like a machine that it tends to store information. And then it just refers back to us like, oh, don't do that because remember when, da 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 da. And then you can't trust your body because your body is going to die out from underneath you. And, it's so interesting when you're talking to the Buddhist monks where they spend, 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 hours, 3 minutes, 3 seconds in silence. And you sit with your body and you can't take baths for long periods of time. And you can't trust your body because your body's sort of rotting underneath you. And I know that that's sort of like a harsh thing to say, but, you can't trust these transient experiences that are related to physicality, but you are a soul inhabiting a body. And your soul, if you're in touch with that soul place should be able to make the right choices. And we've all screwed up. I mean, we've all been young and stupid, and we've all done things that had a terrible consequence and then had to come back around and say, whoa, I don't want to look at that. And yet we do, and we have to redo it in our life, and we have to ask for forgiveness from people and say, I was young and stupid and all that. And that doesn't always fix it. I mean, you cannot say, I was immature and I didn't notice that, which is, what I saw on television today, a young girl doing. And I was just like, if you're older, if you're over 18, you're supposed to, be able to think beyond yourself a little bit, right? And to recognize the consequences of hurting other people. So, I think we're in for a rugged run here. And I've talked about it astrologically forever, since 2015, since 2013, I warned about it. I think we're in for a bumpy road. It's going to be really interesting. And I pray for sane minds to rein in those that have chaotic propensities, and so that we can find a new stability, because the old stability is not going to work at all. And, create rules and laws that limit certain things that are intentionally designed to cause harm. Okay, there you go. Thanks, everybody.